Greetings, my saplings. Alright, so in today's video, we are going to be discussing the white off-white Prestos. Now, we previously just talked about the black off-white Prestos. Today, we'll be talking about the white ones, and more specifically, we'll be talking about some release info, how to cop them, and of course, like always, for those of you guys who are interested, I will be talking about some resale predictions at the end of today's video. Now, before I get into any of that, there is some stuff we definitely do need to talk about, and that, of course, comes down to what happened to the black off-white Presto drop on snkrs US. Evidently, this was supposed to be the biggest drop out of all the Nike and off-white shoes in general, and obviously, this still means it was going to be very limited. However, it was supposed to be the most stocked out of all the others. Now, this is a little confusing considering we didn't get a wide release for snkrs US. We only got the sneakers pass, and then in addition to that, we also had the exclusive access drop. And if you guys were unfamiliar, shoes like the Off-White UNC, they had both of those things, but they also had a shock drop where it was a more wide release. For this case, we didn't get anything like that yet. And honestly, guys, everything was looking fine. All stores were getting 250 to 300 pairs in comparison to, say, the Off-White Converse, which only got like 80 pairs per store. In fact, Canada and Australia even had a drop for these, whereas for most Off-White and Nike drops, they don't oftentimes get them. However, this was one of the times where they did receive an Off-White and Nike shoe. My essential point here is that it's very possible that we still might get a shock drop. As you guys could see on the screen, this was a conversation between some individual and a Nike employee asking about this item, which was the off-white Prestos in black. And honestly, guys, I don't know exactly what this means. I don't know if the employee was being sincere or they just really didn't care, but who knows? This just gives me a little bit of hope that there may potentially be a shock drop for these. So my point here is just keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you're following Soul Links on Twitter and turn on notifications for them because they'll be the first to tweet out if something like this happens. All right, so now jumping into the white off-white Prestos, I just wanted to mention some of that because I know a lot of you guys were interested to know what's going on. And honestly, guys, I myself, I don't exactly know what's going to happen. Anything's possible. But moving on to the white off-white Prestos, these will be releasing like the black ones for $160. Not only that, but they will be releasing on August 3rd, which is right around the corner. It should basically be the same stock. And as for the wide release in Nike US, I'm still not sure if they're going to have it for the white pair or the black pair, so just stay tuned for that. Also, I got a couple of comments requesting what my sources were, and of course, I'm glad to share that with you so you guys could monitor some of these sources on your own time. For instance, one of my sources, of course, would be Soul Links. I always talk about them. Then also Soul Retriever. This is a great one that I use when I find all the raffles and tweet out all the links for them. Not only that, but also on Twitter, PY Rates. I would check them out. If you guys were wondering where I found out about the stock numbers, it was from PY Rates, so I would check them out. They have some valuable information. Then also Soul Supplier is a pretty good one. Of course, J23 app on Twitter and the app. And then for Yeezys, of course, Yeezy Mafia is a somewhat reliable source. Anyway, check out all these sources. There are a couple of more, mostly the actual stores themselves. I would recommend following them, say like End Clothing or Excelsior Milano, Antonia, any of those stores. I would suggest following them because that will be your exclusive access to knowing right away when a raffle goes live or when a store is receiving the shoe. Anyway, I just thought that would help you guys out, so in case I'm not able to make a video for one thing, those are all my sources, and if you guys ever have time, feel free to check them out. Now, moving on to the how to cop portion of today's video, this is basically going to be the same store list as the black off-white Prestos. So I'm going to start it off at 3 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll work our way towards later in the day. So first of all, at 3 a.m. Eastern time, we have Foot Patrol and Soulbox doing a queue for these. And honestly, guys, for both of these stores, mostly for Soulbox, I'm really going to say be patient with these because I saw a lot of people on Twitter who said that they got impatient, they went to sleep, being that it's at 3 a.m. Eastern time, and they woke up and they were on the product page. Obviously, this could be extremely frustrating. However, of course, you have to keep in mind, it is very difficult to also add to cart on Soulbox. I know a lot of you guys have experienced this as well. My point here is, though, it's just worth a try. And if you were wondering, feel free to use the multiple people jig, or if you feel like they are tracking your IP address and you want to play it safe, feel free to use multiple devices on long-term evolution so they will have different gateways. Now moving on to another store releasing at 3 a.m. Eastern time, we have Dover Street Market London. This will be a first come first serve, but before that, you will see an e-flash page, almost like the password page that we used to see on Yeezy Supply. Basically, what you're gonna want to do here is get rid of the /password before you copy and paste the link. So just like Yeezy Supply, you're not going to want to refresh. You can either create a bookmark without the slash password, which you could go ahead and do right now because there is no eFlash currently up there, or if you forget to create the bookmark, just copy and paste the link without the slash password. It's very simple. And then also Dover Street Market New York, for everyone in the US, they are going to be releasing at 11 a.m. Eastern Time like always. If I'm being honest, guys, with Dover Street Market, I've never had luck on here, and I'm sure like almost all you guys have never had luck here. I'm really not a fan of Dover Street Market. I have had success in the past off of Soulbox, so definitely try Soulbox, but I don't know. It's up to you if you want to spend your time on Dover Street Market. Then at 4 a.m. Eastern Time, we should have a Europe drop for these. Now, if you guys recall, for the black off-white Prestos, Europe had that scheduled draw. I'm not exactly sure if they're going to be doing this for the white Prestos, but if it is going to be scheduled, it will be at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Moving on to 8 a.m. Eastern Time, Luisa via Roma will be getting these, but unfortunately, you need 2,000 LVR points, and to acquire those points, it's 1 point per dollar spent, so you would have had to spend $2,000, which I'm sure none of you guys actually have. I don't know who has, or you could just share it a ton of times on Twitter, which it's 20 points per share, so I think you might be able to get away with it. The question is it really worth it? Because I don't know if they're really going to have a significant amount of stock. I don't know if Luisa via Roma is a site that backdoors, but it's up to you if you want to go for it. Moving on to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we have BSTN. One thing I've noticed about BSTN, it's not exactly at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the dot. It's somewhere right after 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so I would recommend just staying on the newest page and just keep refreshing until you see something come up. Of course, this will be a first come first serve, and like I always mention in all of my videos when it comes to these first come first serve sites, definitely make sure you set up autofill if for some reason you haven't already. We also have Australia and Canada, most likely getting these for Nike.com. You will see a countdown pop up just like they did for the Prestos. When it came to the black off-white Prestos, I actually wasn't really expecting Australia and Canada to be getting them, but what do you know? They got them for the black pair, so I'm expecting it to be the same for the white pair. Finally, at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, another place that I actually really enjoy trying is the Frenzy app, and specifically blends on the Frenzy app. Now, I still have yet to have success on blends, but I like the way they have it set up. It seems like I'm actually like trying to go for something, unlike Dover Street Market New York, where it feels like they load up 3 pairs and it's just ridiculous. But on blends, I actually feel like I'm accomplishing something by entering. You see it load a little, so I would definitely recommend trying blends. It takes like 2 to 3 minutes out of your day, honestly. And finally, the last thing I wanted to discuss, of course, was Nike US. For Nike US, you should, of course, expect the sneakers pass for New York and also Chicago. Then you can also expect, just like the black off-white Prestos, an exclusive drop. This was something I wasn't exactly expecting, but I should have expected it because we did have this for the off-white UNCs. But now we know we're expecting it, and you might be wondering, Keith, how are we supposed to know when these things occur? Like I mentioned previously, all you got to do is follow SolLinks and turn on notifications for them. And I understand, guys, SolLinks tweets a lot, and it's a big nuisance sometimes to have your phone vibrate all throughout the day, all day long. You have to keep pulling out your phone and seeing that it's just a sale or something like that. I get it, guys. It's extremely frustrating, so definitely just turn on post notification after this release, but just to be safe before the release, it's going to be worth it to have on notification. Then also I wanted to discuss the wider release for these. Obviously, like I mentioned previously, there still is potential for the black pair to have a wider release anytime soon, and of course the white pair. Now this could occur through a surprise draw that they drop on us the day before the draw, or perhaps it might be a shock drop, which would be in the form of a Leo, where you have 2 to 4 minutes in the form of a first come first serve, where it will say pending when you're in line, and they randomly select people within that 2 to 4 minutes to whose payment they accept. So either way, for this, you're going to want to make as many Nike accounts as possible. And if you're wondering exactly how to do this, I would recommend checking out my Presto how to cop guide for the black pair. I go more in depth into it, and I don't want you guys to have to sit through the same thing over and over again. So just for this, if you guys are new, feel free to check out that video. Now, I also have some raffles. If you guys are familiar with this channel, I usually discuss raffles in the tips for copying videos. However, we have a couple of early raffles, those of which I actually put on my Twitter already, so after I mention them, feel free to go on my Twitter and just click the links. It's very easy for you guys to enter all of them there. First of all, we have End Clothing, then we have Browns for UK only, then we have Excelsior Milano, Foot District, and the VU Store. Again, all the links for these are all on my Twitter. I wanted to make it very easy and simple for you guys to enter. That is where all the links will always be for any raffles that come out. And I specifically wanted to mention this because there are going to be many more raffles. For instance, sneakers and stuff already announced that they're going to be doing a raffle. And there's plenty more, those of which I will keep you updated on. Turn on post notifications so you stay updated for that tips for copying video. I will be discussing all the confirmed stores, all the confirmed times in case we get any extras. Not only that, but more importantly, all the other raffles. Alright, so to conclude today's video, of course, I did want to mention some resale predictions. So what we should be seeing is a price very similar to the black pair, but I'm predicting that it will actually be lower than the black pair. The reason I'm mentioning this is because this is what we saw with the black and white off-white Vapor Maxes. If you guys noticed, it was very similar stock, if not the same, although the white pair was slightly lower than the black pair. Of course, this would most likely have to do with demand. I'm sure some people are concerned that a white shoe would get dirtier than a black shoe, but either way, these shoes are definitely going to be profitable. More importantly, in case there is a wide release for Nike Sneakers US for the black pair, in case there's a wide release for the white pair, the price is definitely going to drop. You can expect them to drop from, what is it, $600 now to possibly $400 to $500. Either way, even if they drop lower than that, they're still going to be profitable. The retail is extremely low on these shoes, so don't stress. If you guys are wondering why I initially predicted $300 to $350 for these just above the off-white Zoom Flies, it's simply because I'm trying to stay conservative. Obviously, if I get my prediction wrong, I would much rather have the prediction be lower than what the actual outcome is, because no one gets mad. In fact, people become happier when they realize that the shoe is worth more than what they expected. However, if it's the other way around, if I overestimate the resale potential, you guys might actually become a little bit frustrated because you might actually be losing money. If not losing money, you might actually be making just less than you have hoped. So that's why I always stay conservative in my predictions. But either way, guys, the essential point here is that they're going to be profitable. They are going to sell out. So definitely do not sleep on this shoe, especially if you want it for personal wear just like I do. With that though, I will conclude today's video. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, if you perhaps learned a thing or two. Again, guys, all the links for those raffles that I mentioned are on my Twitter. Make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay 100% updated on these shoes. Not only these, but any single hype shoe that we'll be releasing in the future. With that though, good luck guys, and I'll see you guys later.
Bing bang, ding ding ding, ding 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 ding.